Well, good evening and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025 commentaries from DDMM and the first appearance in this calendar year for the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Round 7 of the series in total that started in the autumn of 2024 and the first of an Italian double header. We are at IMOLA this evening, this very historic circuit near the beautiful town of Bologna. Is our host for tonight. My name is Andrew Mather. Alongside me in the commentary box, the virtual commentary box as ever, is Mr. Howard Mitchell. Howard, how are we doing this evening? And Happy New Year as well.
Happy New Year to you and everybody tuning in, mate. Yeah, I'm good this evening and always keen to see the Mazda MX-5s. I continue to have a soft spot for them, Andrew, being as they are the original car used in our Club 100 iRacing series, and at such an entertaining track as well. Gotta love Imola. It's a classic racetrack, and yeah, I think we're in for some good racing to kick off 2025 in style. Indeed,
29 drivers set to go this evening, but curiously, I don't think we have our championship leader out tonight. That's okay in terms of the championship scores. There are dropped points about to come into play, because as I say, we've got 4 rounds to go. But here are those championship points as things stand. Kieran Harrison leads the championship on 1,380 points from the 6 rounds completed so far. Matt Kendall in second, ahead of Josh Mitchell, who's been fantastic so far this year in the clubman category. Henry Mackenzie Friedman in fourth. Also looking good in the clubman battle, Jack Eyre, Murray Adams, Ollie Davies, all towards the front as well. Keep an eye on Finley Brunton tonight, looking for another good score in the intermediate category. Tom Holland, Harrison Chapman and Matthew Shawnee all going tonight in the rookie category. And a big congratulations to Matthew Shawnee as well, because hello to John Adey, who let me know about half an hour before we came on air that Matthew's become a papa over the Christmas period. So absolutely fantastic news. There are the rest of the standings. Keep an eye on Sam Sanders as well, in 12th place at the moment, but broke the streak of round wins for Kieran Harrison at the NASCAR race, round 6, that finished off 2024 for us. Sam Sanders is there, obviously there, a little bit further down the order on 656 points, and is in one of those scenarios where every single round he will take part in will count. He's not got any drop scores at all left, but he is still very much a factor if he can continue the kind of form that we saw at Talladega a few weeks ago, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one to watch there, and yeah, we're in for an interesting one, aren't we? With our championship leader out of the picture for tonight, as we look at of the standings further down. Matthew Shawnee there on 407 points, your highest placed rookie. So yeah, definitely in for an interesting evening, and it's so close in amongst those other classes as well, mate. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's pick up then with some of the qualifying action out there around this Imola circuit.
Yes, on screen there. Don't worry, you've not missed anything at the moment. Drivers have just been out for their formation laps. Apologies for the championship graphic having a little bit of a wobble there. But at the top of your screen, you can tell that Finley Brunton's in 11th place in the championship heading into tonight. As I say, I think we've gone about 29, 30 drivers. Good turnout, considering we are in the second half of the season. Sometimes we see a little bit of a drop-off of the attendance in the second half of the season, but still plenty to be competed for, whether it be iRacing dollars at the end of the season or potentially still some track time, some race time, courtesy of Club 100 in the 2025 SP40 seasons. That's what everyone in the Premier, Clubman and Intermediate disciplines in those classes are competing for. This is Andy Alston on your screens in the 126. And heading into the Tosa chicane. Can be a bit tricky in the MX-5s to get the front end in. And something I've noticed so far tonight, Howard, and it's not a massive surprise being that we're here at Imola. A lot of dirt, a lot of detritus, a lot of gravel being pulled onto the circuit at times. Not so much of a problem here in lone qualifying, but when we get onto those races, it's been a big change in iRacing during the last build, because of course we're into 2025 Season 1 now. Completely different, remodeled, improved gravel and debris system for the drivers to get their heads around tonight. And, you know, we've not taken to one of those racetracks that's just a big car park. We've taken them to a classic that's got grass and gravel everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think was it World Endurance Championship that was dealing with Blossom on the circuit here when they came here last year and all of that stuff. It is a circuit that you know, this isn't in the middle of nowhere. This circuit, it's got the tree line all around it. So absolutely, the debris model here in iRacing improved, as you say. So it is a very active circuit in that regard. And yeah, that will surely play a factor, something that drivers need to be wise to when they get into racing. Here's your leader in intermediates. As our first few times are coming in, Matt Kendall setting the early pace. Sorry, Andrew.
He's not got a legal livery on it, so that'll be a paddling in the post-race scrutineering. Anyway, hopefully the car won't be on fire as much as on that livery. I'm meaning that literally, as the other way of saying he's on fire, which was be quick. We've not had his first time in yet. Matt Kendall goes fastest. Sam Sanders P2. Big night for both Kendall and Sanders, with Harrison not present. They have both, for their championship sakes, they've got to win tonight. I don't like using that term a lot as a must-win race or a must-win match, but this has got to be pretty close to it.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to seize these opportunities when they come, haven't you? As I think that's going to be is that Will Blackwell Chambers not setting a valid lap time there? We've got a few drivers who have come through for their first time lap and have not posted a time. In fact, I'll phrase that differently. Only 10 drivers have posted a lap time, even though most of them have put in a timed lap.
Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. James Fremont's the 11th, but it's only a 2:11.67. So Matt Kendall currently fastest, Sam Sanders and Charlie Summers second and third. Jack Eyre top of the Clubmans at the moment. If you're new to the CLUB100 iRacing Championship, what do we mean by Clubman and Premier? Those are two of the 4 driver classes within this championship. Prems are your aliens. Very quick on iRacing. Have most likely got previous experience, proven experience and wins in this series. They are the top drivers. Those are the ones we would expect to see at the front. The Clubmans are still pretty rapid as well. They can either be solid drivers, say around a 3.5 4K rating, without any experience in this championship in previous years, or they can be, say, a 2.5 but have been proven to be able to race beyond that public rating. So there are your Clubmans. Intermediates in green. Those are your keen enthusiasts in a way, not quite on high on rating or previous success. And then your rookies, as well, the name suggests on the tin, they're brand new to things. The Prems are red, the Clubmans are blue, the Inters are green, and the rookies are black on the timing tower there. Still not many laps in here, Howard. This is a bit of a surprise. Only 13 drivers have got an eligible lap time here. You can get track limits around this circuit, but particularly round here, Lando Norris fell foul of that a few years ago, didn't he, in the Formula 1? But this could be quite a mixed up grid if drivers aren't able to get their lap times in.
Certainly could be. Charlie Summers just went fastest a moment ago, overhauling Matt Kendall at the top of the timesheets, 2:03.27, as now Cameron Watson puts in a valid lap time to take our number of times set to 14. But that's still only half the field, Andrew. It's pretty bizarre, this.
Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise, to say the least. None of our rookies have set a lap time yet. This is the 3:14 of Matthew Shawnee with the black roll cage. That's an indicator that he is a rookie driver, is your current rookie points leader. Has been very, very solid across the course of the previous 6 rounds. 2 of them in these MX-5s, 3 of them in the GT3s, and then the NASCAR Special just before Christmas. Matt Hale gets a lap time on the board. He's only P14 though. Here comes Matthew Shawnee. What can Shawnee do here at the end of this second lap? Goes P13. That's a solid run for Matthew Shawnee. At the moment, he's the only of the rookies to get a full lap time in. Here comes Will Doyle in the 115, one of the clubmans, and he goes P13. Everybody seems to want to be in 13th place at the moment. This is Steve Hicks. Steve was telling me before tonight he hasn't done a single lap of practice, so that normally bodes well, and he's not got the rain that he would have hoped for. It's cloudy here at Imola, but dry. No indications that there's going to be any rain across the course of this evening's racing, which in iRACING's sphere is held on the 1st of February, because that's the earliest date that we can make the sim do. Hicks goes P14, brings up the total number of drivers who've completed laps to 18. There are a number of drivers here, Howard, particularly a group of clubmans, who are going to have some work to do in this first race on a circuit that's not particularly well known for being an overtaking area.
No, this is a bizarre setup. That, just to be clear, all the other drivers are now in the pits who haven't set a time, apart from Tom Dix, who won't get around in time because we're going to go in, well, 8, 7, 6, 5. We're counting down to the end of this qualifying session. This is a bizarre setup. Steve Hickson getting that time does mean at least that all the Prems did get a time in. And the Prems are sort of weighted towards the front as we would normally expect. But this is a bizarre grid that we've got here, Andrew.
Even to the extent, I'm not quite sure how. I think iRacing might form this up by iRating, possibly. I love our drivers. They found another loophole in the rules, which we're going to have to address at a future point. Let's have a look at the grid. It'll be a rolling start for the drivers in this one. Charlie Summers will start on pole position. Matt Kendall alongside on the front row. Sam Sanders and James de Havilland on row 2. Good qualifying there for James de Havilland in the 157. Jack Eyre and Ollie Davies on row 3. Mike Hart, good positive qualifying there for Mike Hart in number 11 on row 4. That's his best of the year so far. Cameron Watson alongside on that one. Another couple of Prems complete row 5. It's Michael Weddle and Joshua Mitchell, both flying the flag, of course, for Scotland. Finley Brunton is the first of the intermediates, indicated there with a little green icon next to P11. It's joined by Murray Adams, who for a long time during the NASCAR race was your race leader, still scored good points on that one and is looking to get a bit of momentum going now in the final third of the season. Will Doyle and Steve Hicks start on row number 7. Matthew Shawnee is first of the rookies alongside John Adey. That's row number 8 for the Flying Carrots. Matt Hale and James Fremont start on row 9. After the race, do go and check out some of James's cinematography work on phatphoto.com. That's P-H-A-T photo.com. Here we then go into the drivers who didn't set a lap time. And yes, Will Blackwell Chambers will take P19. Looking at the iRatings, I think that's how iRacing has formed this up. So Will Blackwell Chambers with a 5.1 rating is alongside Joao Castro on row 10. Magnus Riddervold scored well in the NASCAR race, and we'll be looking for a good one here, but he's going to have to go from row number 11. Tim Penny is next up to complete row 11. Andy Elston and Tom Dix go from row 12. Tom Holland and Matthew Davies start on row 13. Sam Dimolo and Eric Mignon start on row 14. The last of the 29 runners tonight here for round 7 of the 2024-2025 season of the CLUB100 iRacing Championship here at Imola in the Mazda MX-5s will be Harrison Chapman. Half formation lap underway. Brand new BMW M2 safety car for everyone to pace behind tonight, and looking resplendent as well in a higher resolution than normal for a DDMM stream. We've had some new kit. I hope it's bringing good pictures to you at home. Good evening to Craig Brown. He's not been able to make it, unfortunately. Sorry, mate. Sorry to hear that. I do know there's been some bad weather around the country, of course, this evening. But here at DDMM Towers, where it's relatively warm, we've put the central heating on and we're getting ready for what should be a very entertaining 25-minute race with Charlie Summers on pole position in the number 35, the red and black Mazda there, alongside Matt Kendall in the number 67. He's had many second places so far this year, but with no Kieran Harrison here tonight, this is a great opportunity for him to take his first win of the season. It's a long, long run to the line here at Imola. None of the final chicane that used to be there in the early 2000s. We are green and racing. It's a good start for Charlie Summers, who's gone early, committed to it. That's absolutely fine. Sam Sanders is down the inside for second place on Matt Kendall. James de Havilland in the all-black 157 being patient there, holding in P4. Jack Ayres had a decent start as well, is up to P5. All looking good so far. Howard can be a bit tricky sometimes, Tamburello, but it looks like all 29 drivers have made it through.
Yeah, indeed. Looks relatively clean down the order, no one plummeting to the back, which is good to see. Not least bearing in mind that there are some drivers out of position in the latter half of this field because of the drivers who didn't set a time, but so far fairly well behaved as they head up the hill from Tosa towards Birantella for the first time. But as you say, mate, good start for Charlie Summers. He actually has a few car lengths in hand over Matt Kendall, who's regained second place. Sam Sanders after that initial exchange through Tamburello earlier on in the lap. But yeah, this is exactly what Charlie Summers would have wanted as a start. We look slightly further back here at the battles beginning in Clubman's.
And in the championship, in a way, Charlie Summers would be a very good victor for Kieran Harrison tonight. The simple reason, Charlie Summers only rejoined the championship a couple of rounds ago. Mathematically, he's already effectively out of play. Now, the other thing to consider, there's a close moment there, and there's contact between John Adey and one of the Rethink Racing drivers. I think that might have been Andy Alston. They both get going again, and yeah, a bit of a close moment there through the chicane. Bryn Albon asks, why does Howard sound like a... Oh, that's going to get close down in to the double right-handers. And I think Davis in the middle of all of that as well. Yeah, Matthew Davis here. He has come up to P19. So a decent start there for Matt Davis in the 225. Back at the front of the order. Charlie Summers under attack from Matt Kendall. Matt Kendall calm down the inside, takes the lead, Howard.
Yeah, nicely done, and that was always going to be a factor here at Imola. It is a very long, I'll call it a start-finish run. To call it a straight is not entirely fair, as James de Havilland is having a look, Jack Ayres is having a very earnest look there at both de Havilland and Sanders ahead of him, but holds station for now. As you can see, there is the debris, including the Blossom, heading towards Tosa. But yeah, the drag was always going to be an interesting factor along that start-finish bend, effectively heading towards Tamburello, and that was really well played by Matt Kendall there to just use that slipstream and get by. Textbook overtake at Imola in many ways, but that doesn't that belies the fact that it's not the easiest thing to do.
Indeed, and in a way, this is the first time this season, it's taken till 2025 to really see what Matt Kendall can do in this situation. Now, for those not aware, Matt Kendall is very, very experienced in these Mazda MX-5s. There's a really strong amount of experience in them from real life. But if you think about the two races that we've had in the Mazdas so far this season, they've both had their nuances as we have a look at a replay. I think this is James Fremont having a moment, possibly, into Tosa. A bit deep on the brakes, and round goes James Fremont. Through there goes Tom Holland in the Warwick University Motorsport car. But good to see. Oh, there's another car off there. There's two cars off, and one of them was Mike Hart, and the other was Ollie Davis. Ollie Davis involved with an incident there. One of the Flying Carrots seems to be in trouble as well. I think it's Matthew Shawnee going by the black. This is what caused that moment. Door to door, bit of a hip check there between Davis and Hart.
Down at Ravazza.
Yeah, down at Ravazza number 1. And well, on first look there, Howard, I'd say that was looking more towards a racing incident. We'll come back to that though, because it's kicking off at the front once again. Matt Kendall has not been able to break away from the rest of the field. James de Havilland is going to throw it down the inside and take second place. Well, I said to the drivers in the drivers' briefing that, well, it shouldn't be that much drafting and bump drafting as we saw at Daytona about a month and a half ago. I was completely wrong, Howard. Once again, the nature of the global Mazda MX-5 Cup car means that you may have a very quick driver at the front of the field in the shape of Matt Kendall, but can he break away from this field of very competent drivers right now? The answer is simply no.
Yeah, indeed. It's that long stretch from Ravazza all the way to Tamburello, Andrew. It's just allowing everyone to catch back up to whoever the leader is at that point. Create some opportunity through that first sector of the lap. And yeah, not a lot of evidence to suggest that this won't keep going and going all race long, really, as we're on board with Jack Eyre watching side by side between Sam Sanders and Charlie Summers. Not sure if it's just the case for me, Andrew, but there's a bit of blinking going on with Charlie Summers there. I wonder if that's the case for any of fellow competitors, and if so, that can be a little bit of a distraction of sorts. Battle going on as well between Cameron Watson and Michael Weddle behind them as well. But you'll see it all start to close back up again here amongst our top five. And big opportunity here for James de Havilland to try and take the lead off of Matt Kendall for the first time.
Indeed, James de Havilland, who rejoined the CLUB100 Sim Racing Championships fray at the start of 2024 for the BUKC iRACING Trophy. He was actually one of the originals. He was there at the very start during the pandemic. Was away for a few years, came back in as an FF1600 specialist for that BUKC iRACING Trophy. But here was a clubman driver, was promoted up from the intermediate to the clubman level after that 5-round championship that kicked off 2024. And he just seems to be growing in confidence and speed across all these different disciplines, and that's what makes this championship a bit different to others that you may have watched before on iRacing. That tonight it's global Mazda MX-5s. In a couple of weeks' time it'll be another Italian circuit, but it'll be GT3's round Monza. Last time out it was NASCAR's at Talladega. You've got to be a bit of a jack of all trades to get to the very front. Oh, it's been a big off there for John Adey. He was upside down, as towed to pits. Let's have a look at how that happened. This is Matthew Davis and Matt Hale going into Tozer, and I think Matthew Davis is going to go round, and is John Adey just going to get clipped? Oh, he's just unsighted, completely unsighted there. Frontal impact straight into Matthew Davis. Davis is out of this race effectively. John Adey is as well. Yes, they will have a fast repair to use and get back into the race a long way down the order, but they've got to complete the mandatory iRacing tow time first.
Yes, you asked if he just clipped him. No, that wasn't a clip.
No.
That was a pretty big impact there, which led to the flip. So disappointing for those two drivers. We're going to see the slipstream effect here. James de Havilland pulling alongside here, nice and early this time. And will surely take the lead now, heading towards turn one. And Sam Sanders going with him as well, Andrew. That's a change for first, second, and third there. De Havilland, Sanders, and Kendall. Now the top three all change. And Jack Eyre, Charlie Summers just a little too far back to capitalise on that themselves. Trying to stay with them here as Matt Kendall now beginning to fight back. Bit of a bump on the rear of Sam Sanders.
Good move there by James de Havilland. Matt Kendall's looking down the inside of Sam Sanders as they go through the hairpin at the bottom of the hill, and Kendall's going to have the move done. Jack Eyre having a little bit of a sniff around there in P4. Just looking further down the order, Howard, who's come up through the field. Well, Will Blackwell-Chambers, I think, has made a good number of positions in the opening 9 minutes of this race. is up to P12. Sam Dimolo as well has also gained, is up to 17th. As we have a little further look back. Oh, now is the problems there for Matthew Shawnee? Oh, there's problems for Tim Penny as well, because Tim Penny was missing the front clip. Matthew Shawnee's got bonnet damage as well, Howard.
Yeah, I'm not. Let's just check out the cockpit view. Yeah, that is going to make navigating the circuit Enzo Edina Ferrari a little difficult as we go through Acqua Minerale here.
Oh, he's still doing pretty good.
I was going to say, I'm quite impressed he's not put it in the wall yet.
He's going to lose the lead in intermediate, though. He's already lost the lead. Eric Mignon's gone through. So the fastest Belgian in Club 100 has gone through. What we're seeing there is Matthew Shawnee already had the damage on that replay. Apologies for the slight technical issue there. Back with live pictures. This is going to be the tricky one. Down into the Rivazzas. Can Matthew Shawnee get it stopped? Yes, he can. If we had an award for best Dakar rally style driving whilst the Dakar's on, I think Matthew would have won it. Can he get into the pit lane though without hitting anything else? No, he can't. That's gone badly wrong, and that's now going to be towed back to the pit lane. Well, he nearly made it.
I was just about to say, now he's got to spot the pit entry, and yeah, that was difficult to do.
That was akin to someone did that. Someone did that in a I want to say in a VLN race. It was at the Nürburgring, and it's on the full Nordschleife, going into the Grand Prix pits a few years ago. Well, that was entertainment for us all. Matthew will be able to use the fast repair, getting his money's worth for it. But unfortunately, he's going to have to start the second race towards the back of the field. Very much not starting at the back of the field for the second race if things stay as they are. Is on board here with Murray Adams. This is the battle for 7th place. Michael Weddle just ahead and Josh Mitchell behind. Good run for Murray Adams out of the chicane, and trouble is downhill braking into Rivazza 1, Howard, not easy at all.
No, this is it's so easy to mess up the braking down here at the best of times, and when you're trying to execute a pass as well, you know, with the downhill braking just half a metre late, he's going to punish you when you get to the turning point, or indeed when you go beyond it. So it looks so tempting as an overtaking opportunity, but it's hard to do, and in many ways you're better to wait, exactly as Murray Adams has done now, to challenge on this main start-finish straight. Goes by to take 7th place from Mike Weddle. An interesting one, how the circuit finishes, or how the lap finishes here, Andrew, because in a way, do you want to be at the head of the peloton on that last lap if battles are close? But it's start-finish line that matters, not turn one at that point uniquely.
Yeah.
So if you can just about hang on to it 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, the finish line, for those who know their IMOLA history, is in terms of how far down the straight it is. I mean, you can see it on our little track map as well. Where the old final chicane was, you know, back when I first started following Formula One, and memories of Mika Hakkinen going off there in 1999 and things like that. The finish line was immediately after, or pretty much immediately after, that final chicane. So you're right, Howard, it's not that much of a long run to the finish line out of Rivazza 2, and if you can get a good exit out of Rivazza 2 as a race leader or a pack leader, then I agree. I'd take track position and look to just hold it to drivers' rights. That'll all start to bear fruit later on in this race, of course. We're 14 minutes into it, 9 to go. We were having a quick look there at the group of Murray Adams down to Will Blackwell Chambers and Will Doyle. This is the next group. Ollie Davis there in P15. At the moment, between two intermediate drivers, Joao Castro and Andy Alston, I think, immediately behind. And the scoring is showing that Mike Hart is through into 16th, but I'm not quite sure what's happening there because I don't see him. Oh, it's a back marker.
It's a back marker, yeah, it's a back marker.
It is indeed.
I think that's Magnus Ridevold.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you are correct indeed. At Magnus, who's had problems in the early stages of this race, but we'll keep circulating, and you never know, maybe pick up some positions later on into this race. Here's that battle for 7th place again. Howard, Murray Adams looking good. And I think this is the start of the stage of the season, Howard, where drivers will start thinking about point scores. And just to remind the folks at home, talking for drivers who've been ever present, they have dropped scores, but it's not a simple case of, oh, a race here, a race there. It's more akin to dropped evenings. And not just that, it's broken down into each segment as well. So essentially, a driver's worst MX-5 evening, their worst GT3 evening, and then their next worst evening across the 11 rounds. Those are the 3 scores that are dropped. Drivers will be looking at what they did at Daytona, they'll be looking at what they did at Suzuka, and at least trying to beat those tallies to a race here tonight at Imola.
Yes, indeed, and I kind of like the system because it upholds the sort of multi-discipline or multi-vehicular nature of this championship, right? That it's not all you're not necessarily punished for a weakness with a particular car, if you like. It's spread across. So I quite like that nature, but absolutely we are at that point in the season where we start to get towards the business end. Are we looking here at another change for the lead? Matt Kendall's controlled this one well for a good few laps, but Sam Sanders is pulling alongside here and is going to have the inside line by the time they get to Tamburello. Surely that sees us with a change of lead. The 3 of Sam Sanders to the head of the field. Plenty of time to go though in this race. Nicely done all the same by Sam Sanders.
A very good run indeed from Sam Sanders, who seems to have refound his mojo, I would say, Howard. He had a very, very tough 2023 Club 100 iRacing Championship season where, well, the bad luck barrel was pretty much empty by the time that Sam had finished with it. But he had a good win, of course, last time out of the NASCARs. When we've seen him previously this season as well, he's been right on form, no race rust. And he leads this one now, knowing that if he can get on a bit of a run between now and the end of the season, and we saw him have a good finish to the BUKC iRacing Trophy as well, around 9 months ago or so. You know, he's still in with a chance, I would say, of some championship glory, as is this driver here, Jack Eyre, currently in 4th place. That's James de Havilland immediately ahead of us. In the lead of the Clubman category, the first of those cars with the blue roll cage, as opposed to the red roll cages of the Prems. Jack, I think, again, we've seen this before from him earlier in the season, just playing the long game, not going too hard at things in the opening 20 minutes of these races. He wants to make sure that he's there come the run off of Rivazza 2 on that last lap, which is going to be, I'd say, in around 7 or 8 minutes time.
Absolutely, it's going to be this kind of battle. It is all going to mount up to how these drivers can position themselves on that last lap. De Havilland having a look, trying to pry the door open on Matt Kendall. He's made it work, but he's going to get bulked by Sam Sanders on the outside. How's this one going to play out through Tamburello? And Kendall's able to get it back, and that all happened because it seemed to me, Andrew, that Sam Sanders, if anything, was holding up De Havilland in his charge up to 2nd place. And Matt Kendall now with a run heading towards the Villeneuve chicane here. This is not where we've seen the lead being taken so far this evening. He's going to be round the outside for the right-hander, and that's beautifully done there by Matt Kendall. Well, if taking the lead on the start-finish straight is sort of playing to service game. That was almost a break point there for Matt Kendall to take the lead through Villeneuve.
Brilliant racing, really, really good racing here between this quartet. Matt Kendall retakes the lead. 5.5 minutes to go on the timer. No +1 laps in this format. So once that timer hits 25 minutes, it will be last lap time. Here's a bit of a side-by-side battle. That is going to be Will Doyle, who's got a green roll cage on. Should have a blue roll cage on, but never mind. Up ahead of one of the Rethink Racing entries who's gone down the inside. That's Finlay Brunton, who's got a new livery on for tonight. That was a boisterous one down the inside through Aqua Minerale. So from Finlay Brunton there through the Variante Alta. Don't want to battle too hard though, because yes, it's not as big a slipstream as we saw at Daytona, and of course when we were at Suzuka we didn't see any proper slipstreaming at all, because well, nobody could see about 2 inches in front of their own face with the rain. But you don't want to fall too quickly off the pack, because when you get to this point of the circuit and this long run again towards Tamburello, you're out of one of those big packs, you will inevitably lose some time.
Absolutely. Following this pack of clubbers, which has a Scottish derby going on in the middle of it. By the way, Mike Weddell, currently your lead Scotsman, and putting a move there in on Cameron Watson into Tamburello. Got very close, by the way. I was keeping an eagle eye on timing. Got very close between Matt Kendall and Sam Sanders once again as they approach turn 1 this time around. But Kendall was able to stave off an attack. Of that top pack, Andrew, I would say that Kendall, as Josh Mitchell has a little nibble there into Villeneuve. Wondered where the nose of his MX-5 was going to end up then, but it didn't all come to tears. Watson trying to have a look there initially, I think, around the outside of Weddell, but Josh Mitchell able to capitalise on that and pull alongside on the inside of Tosa, now heading up towards the hill. Might get a little bit close there as they're heading towards Piratella. I know this circuit. As they come out of there, that goes the way of Josh Mitchell by the time they get to Aqua Minerale. Nice move there from Mitchell.
Numerous good moves in that one, Howard, including one from Will Blackwell Chambers, who got down the inside of Murray Adams into Tosa. Into 9th place. Can't call this one at the moment, mate. It's still that pack of 4 at the front. I wouldn't rule out Charlie Summers as well there in P5, but the drivers have got to remember as well, now we start to see how you can overtake ground here, but it's not the easiest. It's not as easy as Daytona before Christmas. And again, the results from this race will set the grid for race 2. You've got to be patient at this moment of the race, I feel. So across the line once again, Matt Kendall, still your race leader. I reckon we'll have this lap plus 1 more to take us through to 25 minutes plus.
I wonder if we just saw the reason, Andrew, why the timing has got so close between Kendall and Sanders the last few laps, but we haven't seen a swap. Is it because they're working together with bump draft to try and break out ahead of de Havilland so that they can worry about the battle for the lead just between themselves on that last lap?
Maybe so, maybe so. So Charlie Summers not out of this one. He's holding there at about 1.5 seconds as down the inside. Will Blackwell Chambers having a fight with Cameron Watson. Blackwell Chambers in the Clapham North car, the white car. Watson maybe having a couple of connection moments there. Just blinking off of our screens for a moment, but he's there in the Red Lodge karting. Black car with the red trim. Will Blackwell Chambers is down the inside. He's not got it done though. There's still a little bit of an overlap as they head down towards Piratella. Watson's going to be back on the inside. He's going to have to be brave on the brakes, but keep it in tight to give Blackwell Chambers a little bit of room. He does so, retakes the position. Brave stuff there from Cameron Watson. And here now comes Murray Adams.
Good stuff from these drivers as they come into the Variante Alta. And that was a properly good exchange there. Say, Murray Adams arriving on the scene as well there to take some of the spoils. Brilliant stuff between Blackwell, Chambers and Watson.
You can tell, Howard, can't you, that it's that the drivers know they're getting towards the bitter end of this race now. 15 seconds remaining on the clock. There go the race leaders over the start-finish line. Sam Sanders is going to look to move himself back to the front of the order. May have a bit of an assist from James de Havilland behind. Matt Kendall's going to have to be brave around the outside, and Jack Ayres trying to go around the outside to the inside on the second part of Tambirello to take the lead in Clubman. We said to look out for him, that he was biding his time. Jack Ayres is up to third place here on the last lap of this one. Into the Tozer chicane now. Sam Sanders leads this one. Matt Kendall there in second place. Ayres, de Havilland and Summers still this top five. Into Tozer. Big exit coming now for Sam Sanders. He's been pushed all the way by the driver currently second in the championship scores. They both know how important this round is tonight. Neither of them have taken a road race win so far this season as Kendall looks down the inside into Piratella. Sanders is going to be on the outside. We'll have the inside next for Aqua Minerale. Jack Ayres is still there as well in P3. May have a route down the inside of Kendall for P2 on the second part of Aqua Minerale. Yes, he does. Great stuff there from Jack Ayres. Has he played this absolutely spot on? We saw a Clubman driver win the first race at Daytona a few weeks ago. Is Ayres looking down the inside into the Variante Alta? No, he's side by side once again with Matt Kendall. This could be Sam Sanders' opportunity now to break away, to take a first road race win of 2025, the 2024-2025 season, I should say. Still side by side between Jack Ayres and Matt Kendall. Matt Kendall will have the inside line, but James de Havilland is going to want to have a go there as well. Jack Ayres trying to hold it around the outside. This race is surely going to be won by Sam Sanders. These two have been wing mirror to wing mirror for the past 6 or 7 corners. It's going to be a run to the line. Sam Sanders wins for the first time on the road courses in 2024-2025's season of Club 100 iRacing. Jack Ayres takes P2 by, I think, 18 thousandths of a second. Kendall P3, James de Havilland P4. Charlie Summers makes it the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, covered by a second and a half. Weddle, Mitchell, Adams, Watson and Blackwell Chambers all in the top 10. Finley Brunton is first of the intermediates home in P12. And I think Eric Mignon is going to be your first rookie home in race number 1 in 21st position. Here comes Tim Penny and Sam Dimolo over the line, 18th and 19th. Joao Castro P20. And indeed, it will be Eric Mignon, winner in the rookie class in race 1. What a finish to that one, Howard.
Yeah, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Brilliant, brilliant stuff. In a way, a shame we didn't get a chance to sort of focus on Sam Sanders crossing the line, but that's because just behind him was an absolutely frenetic battle towards the line. That was beautiful stuff certainly between those top 5, but there was a fantastic finish there in the mid-pack of Clubman's as well, Andrew, and it's exactly what we spoke about, the build-up towards that start-finish run, which starts all the way back at Ravazza. Fair play to Jack Ayres, by the way, keeping his foot in it and hanging it round the outside of Ravazza to in the end cling on to that one. That was brilliant stuff from the number 5.
Was indeed. More of that to come. Race 2 will be beginning shortly. We've still got a couple of cars, I think, out on circuit. Tom Holland and Matt Hale, who have taken the finish. They're just going for a long return back to the pits. We are now gridding up for race number 2. Howard, if you've got a moment, take us through the grid for this second one.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be based off of the finish order of a moment ago. Sam Sanders then starting this one on pole. Jack Ayres with that brilliant finish just there in the first race with Matt Kendall, James de Havilland on row 2, Charlie Summers and Mike Weddle on row 3. A Prem and a Clubman side by side each on those first 3 rows shows just how competitive it was there. Josh Mitchell and Murray Adams making an all-Scottish 4th row of the grid. Cameron Watson and Will Blackwell Chambers, 2 more Clubmans to round out the top 10. Steve Hicks is joined by the highest placed intermediate driver from that first race, Finley Brunton, on row number 6. Then it's Will Doyle and Ollie Davis on row 7. Mike Hart and Andy Alston are next, with Tom Dix and Tim Penny rounding out a collection of Clubman drivers there. Sam Dimolo and João Castro round out your top 20. Eric Mignon was the highest rookie driver in that last race. He has Tom Holland alongside him as well to start a rookie derby off right away there in this second race. James Fremont and Matt Hale, I think both had some form of incident in that one, so they'll be hoping for a better time of it, starting from row 12. Matthew Shawnee and John Adey are next. Magnus Riddervold and Matthew Davies, and I believe Harrison Chapman is a non-starter for this one, so the 28 starters that we'll have for race number 2, which promises, Andrew, to pretty much pick up from where we left off in terms of entertainment.
Absolutely. And well, 28 cars on circuit for this one. I don't think we've got Harrison Chapman, and the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice, hey, that looks like a very big field. Yes, because we've got a PC at DDMM HQ now that can draw more than 20 cars on screen at any one time. Fantastic. It took us long enough. But this second race will again be 25 minutes. No scheduled pit stops. There will be scheduled pit stops next time out, when we'll be at Monza for the penultimate run of the year in the GT3s. Safety car will pull into pit lane. Then it'll be over to Sam Sanders to hit the loud pedal. He can hit it as early as he wants. He's got to stay committed, though. He's gone quite early, and I think that's going to be a good one for Sam Sanders. He immediately gets across to form a bit of a train with Jack Eyre. Starting this second race then, and nearly 3 wide by the time we've even got to the kink before the run down to Tamburello. But it's going to be Sam Sanders who leads this one in the early stages, side by side between Matt Kendall and Jack Eyre. Well, they've touched. They've touched there, and round goes Matt Kendall. Well, they left race 1 side by side to the line. They continued it into race number 2, and Matt Kendall facing the wrong way momentarily, and now all the way down Howard to P25.
Yeah, disaster start there for Kendall. His car looks all right to me. He's now got a mountain to climb. It looks like Will Blackwell Chambers has had drama. In fact, there's several drivers who've had an incident there. There's Blackwell Chambers recovering, but I'm not quite seeing there was a bumper. Oh,
Josh Mitchell
into Tota as well.
Josh Mitchell and I think Andy Alston involved. I don't know if we can get a little look at the replay of what has happened there. Matt Hale has also got damage on the front of his car. Eric Mignon is also reported as in pit lane, so it has all come to blows at the start of race number 2. My oh my, that is not what we wanted to see at all. Let's have a look at this. This was Andy Alston's view of it all. All looking relatively okay at the moment. So he just spins round and loses control. Oh, takes a good old hit from both Matt Hale and then Eric Mignon for good measure. So that's how he lost the front end of his car. Will Blackwell Chambers was another car involved. This is how he had his moment. There was contact with Josh Mitchell and bang, both of them into the wall. That's 2 front-running clubmans who are now going to have to do all that hard work again. There is Andy Alston returning to the pit lane. Well, we've been saying it all season, Howard, that these clubmans, it's the most competitive sector of the field this season, and maybe now we're getting into the second half of the year. This is when we start to see the stakes going up and a few more risks being taken.
Yeah, absolutely, and I made that. Goodness me, that is 9 drivers who have had to take to the pit lane, Andrew. They'll get the fast repair, as we've mentioned, but even so, That's going to create, well, you can see on the driver tracker, that's created almost a secondary race from 20th place downwards of the drivers who've had some form of incident on that first lap.
And unfortunately for Matt Kendall, the other side of this, when we've been talking about it all night, no Kieran Harrison here this evening, that he needed to maximise the points scoring opportunity on offer here tonight. That is gone. Even if he was to come back and win race 3, it's not going to be the kind of, say, 230 points plus scoring night. Remember, it's 240 points available to a race winner, or a race driver who wins all parts of the evening, races 1, 2 and 3. It's the same for GT3s as well. Because of course on the GT3s we have 2 races. Basically, if you have a perfect night, it's 240 points. And that is not going to be the case now. Well, it was already not going to be the case for Matt Kendall, because he didn't win the first race, of course. But now he's going to have to try and be in damage limitation mode for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, one of those other drivers who we've been talking about, Sam Sanders, still very much at the front of things here. This is the battle for 12th and 13th places on your screen. Tom Dix with the orange car there, just ahead of Sam Dimolo, and Magnus Riddervold coming through as well, Howard. What a great recovery from Riddervold after those difficulties in race 1.
Yeah, important one for him here after having a difficult race 1, and obviously the start of a new race providing a new opportunity, no longer a lap down. Yeah, he's making hay with that opportunity, avoided the ruckus of the first lap, and well, yeah, 14th place and counting at the moment. Really good stuff.
Just having a little reminder of myself for Matt Kendall, what the situation is in terms of Mazda scores, because again, we'll have 5 Mazda race evenings across the course of the season, and a driver's worst of those 5 is one of the 3 drops available to them over the whole season. The bad news for Matt Kendall is he's already got a bad score by his lofty standards on the scorecard for the Mazdas. The torrential rain that we had at Suzuka for the very first race in the Mazdas this season. He scored 166 points. That was a night where Kieran Harrison scored 240. Better, of course, at Daytona, scored 210, was the second highest scorer of the Premiers on that particular evening. But there's a risk here now that that 166 from Suzuka could still be in play, or not beaten by a lot, shall we say, based on how Kendall does the rest of this evening. More on that later. This is the fight for second place. On board with Jack Eyre. I've got to say, I was thoroughly impressed with Jack Eyre's reading of that race in the last 10 minutes of race 1, Howard. He clearly had a plan, he had a strategy, and he executed it quite brilliantly.
He's always, there's traffic ahead of them in the form of Matthew Davis, but he's executing a plan nicely here as well. If he can just pull alongside de Havilland, which he can't, and he's got to be careful as well to cover off any threat from Charlie Summers. But yeah, really nice racecraft so far this evening from Jack Eyre. Can he go one better in this second race?
Good news, Howard. I think Harrison Chapman, well, I was about to say was back in the race, so he's showing us back in the lobby again on my screen, if I'm understanding the telemetry correctly. So at least if Harrison Chapman could get out there and do a couple of laps, he'll score some championship points for the efforts tonight. Has been to both of the Mazda races so far this season. Here is your battle for 20th place. Mike Hart in the pink number 11, and Matt Hale in the white G3 Pro car there. And
that is Mike Hart moving into the lead of I had to visit the pit lane at the end of lap 1 class.
Very good in
race within the race.
Yeah, very good run, hopefully, for Mike here on out. He's got about 30 seconds to find on drivers ahead. So he needs probably some incidents to occur. There'll be some good time to find out some more information about the state of the track and how it is as we go towards race number 3. Here's your battle for 10th. Steve Hicks and Joao Castro, one of the most experienced drivers in this field in the CLUB100 iRacing sphere, versus one of the debutants for this 2024-2025 season. Steve Hicks holding off the CLUB100 Junior right now, who's got some Praga logos on the car for tonight. Now Joao's been doing some racing in real life in some of the Praga karts. But meet Steve Hicks here, Joao, who's one wily old fox when it comes to keeping drivers behind in these Mazdas. Joao right now just taking the option to work with the number 4 seed from last year. I think that's quite a good call, because right now they've got a near 3-second deficit to Murray Adams up the road. If they fight too hard, they're easily going to be into the clutches of the likes of Riddervold, Dix and Dimelo behind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's for these cars, it's a strange one, this, because there are parts of the field that are quite spread out. Then there are other parts, such as this pack here, where you don't want to lose time having a battle too long at this early phase of the race. So for those drivers who were able to avoid drama on lap 1, that is still very much a factor. Sam Sanders had a good start. Sorry, Andrew. Sam Sanders did have a brilliant start for the first couple of laps, managed to pull out a few car lengths over the field. But de Havilland and Air have worked, and Summers, I should say as well, have worked well here, Andrew, to reel him back in and make something of this still the first third of this race.
They have indeed. Yeah, they've been working nicely. Everybody's into that rhythm now. Got that knowledge from race number 1 as well, of how these cars will feel as the fuel goes down. 20 litres is the set amount of fuel for everybody out there, and it's fixed setup, so very akin to CLUB100 in real life. No one has the opportunity to bolt some new bits onto their car or trial out some setup work ahead of the race. It's kind of, you run what you get on the night. This is a move for the lead. James de Havilland down the inside. Pretty routine stuff. Through past Sam Sanders. But as we know from race number 1, that lead is most likely to go back and forth. We've still got the best part of 15 minutes of this one to go.
And Summers passed Air as well for 3rd at the same time. Bit of change in amongst the top 4 now. De Havilland, Sanders, Summers, Air, the top 4.
Very good indeed. Keep your comments coming in. Let us know who you're supporting and where you're watching from. Good evening to Adam Naffer, who loves the safety car livery. Hope to see you on Saturday night, mate. We've got the CLUB100 Awards in Birmingham, hosted at the National Motorcycle Museum. Very much looking forward to that one. Here is your battle for 10th place, and Hicks and Castro have been caught by Magnus Riddervold now. Howard, be interesting to see how Riddervold plays with this one.
Yeah, it is, because what it also means, therefore, is that we're looking at the battle for first in class within the intermediates. This is in the form of Castro versus Riddervold. So, yeah, the lead of our top 3 classes being very openly contested here in this second race at this stage. And in rookies, relatively comfortable for Tom Holland, being the only rookie who wasn't involved in an incident that led to a visit to the pit lane after that first lap. So all of the classes that sort of legitimately can be a close run thing for the class lead are a close run thing. Honestly, it is the battle for the lead in intermediates. Ignore Will Doyle's green roll cage. He's a clubman in disguise. But Castro has the help of a Steve Hicks slipstream here, Andrew, to sort of put off any attack from Riddervold down this start-finish straight. It's actually helping him out quite a bit here. A Carlos Sainz-esque strategy,
yes,
one might say, to try and retain this one.
Yeah, and they'll be pleased with the sight of Murray Adams getting involved ahead of them to take 7th place. So so if this quartet can keep working together, there's a chance here. They were 3 seconds behind the group ahead of them. That gap is coming down now. It is going to be, well, it's less than 2 seconds now. It's kicking off again directly ahead of them. As Adams down the inside, Watson was on the outside, and now they have caught them. So great work there by Hicks, Castro, Riddervold and Dix. Held the line, and we've now got a real good scrap going through Piratella now. Murray Adams might be feeling a little bit vulnerable. He went on the attack. That's what broke things up a little bit between the top 3 in this train. If there's any kind of retaliation from Will Doyle to retake that 7th place on the road, all of a sudden Murray Adams is going to find half of Italy directly behind him. Into Variante Alta then. Got to be very precise with all aspects of your corner entry there, Howard. So easy to get that part of the course wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to bounce yourself over the curbs a little bit, but not too much. You don't want to come in too hot because you're just going to clatter over the curbs and push yourself either wide on exit or into a spin, more likely. As this pack bunches up, what it's allowing to happen as well is Sam Dimolo is slowly but surely coming up onto the back of this. We could have a 3-way fight for the lead in intermediates coming up soon. As this pack will close up on this start-finish straight.
Could indeed. Will Doyle giving Murray Adams a little bit of a nudge. Murray Adams deciding to sit in the middle of the road. Oh, Watson appears and disappears and reappears once again on our screens. That's going to be a little bit distracting for Steve Hicks in the middle of it all. 15 minutes gone, 10 to go. We're over halfway of the racing this evening. Will be about a 5 to 10 minute pause after this second race, just to give drivers a little bit of a breather, as Hicks down the inside of Cameron Watson. It's going to be side by side still as they come off of Tozer. But if Hicks can hold the speed and the line, he's got the wipers going, he could have 9th position here. It's still side by side. Castro running in. Don't think he was quite aware of the position of Watson. Riddervold's going to have a go at the Red Lodge car now, as contact between Watson and Riddervold goes round, half round, will be able to rejoin eventually. Very good awareness there. Riddervold just waiting for Finlay Brunton to go through. Well, in a way, Howard, that's not a massive surprise. A lot of cars in close proximity. One of them clearly having some connection issues there and blipping in and out, and that may have caught Riddervold out.
Yeah, I feel somewhat, it's a tough one to call, that one, because of the connection issues that were clearly being had by Cameron Watson. I do, my heart goes out to Riddervold there in a way on that one, because it's not entirely a given that he knew that he had to leave the space. It looked, from my position, like you could see Watson at that point, but that's not a given at his end, and yeah, that definitely was making it difficult. Might have been actually what drove the sort of big lunge from Hicks as well down at Tozer, Andrew, because it is, you know, I don't want to draw attention to the blinking too much, but as and when it is an issue, it is really an issue when you're on the tail of somebody, and that was a big move from Steve Hicks, which he was able to make work, and Castro as well was good to pick his way through that as well. So tough one to call that. There may have been some some mitigating circumstances as to why one would say that was.
Hicks round.
Hicks round.
Hicks round. I'm not sure if that was simply driver error. We have seen a few drivers getting loose through the exit of Toes. I don't know if we can get that on a little replay, or whether there was contact at all, or maybe netcode. We always have to consider that there's netcode lurking here, there, and everywhere in sim racing from time to time. That's a real shame for Steve. He seemed to be back in the groove. Let's have a look at it again. He's out wide. I think that's all on his own. Well, yeah, that would be remarkable if there's any netcode, given how much space there was between himself and Joao Castro. And, well, Steve Hicks, after some really good work and seeming to be back in the groove, is now back down in P16. Battle 4. This is the Ollie Davies, Mike Weddle battle. So this is for 5th place.
Just to keep everyone confused, it's Matthew Davis a lap down behind them.
It is indeed. And Ollie Davis, well, thought about going for the move there, but simply didn't have enough speed to get past Michael Weddle. Down into Tamburello once again. 6 minutes to go on the clock, or just over that.
Positioning from Weddle there. The move from Ollie was to go, I need a bit more of that old draft thing. I'm going to go back into the slipstream. But Weddle sees that opportunity and go, all right, then I'll just block you from being able to come back out from my slipstream. At least to the inside, where you'll have the advantage. So good positioning from Weddle there. As it would have been very easy for Ollie Davis to gather up a bit more momentum in the slipstream once again. And it's such a long run, Andrew, that you can have multiple bites of the cherry. If you go, I'm not quite close enough, not quite got the overspeed, let's get some more. Let's get some more slipstream going. So yeah, well dealt with by Weddle, showing a cool head there whilst under pressure towards Tamburello.
Michael Weddle knows how to deal with the slipstreams. He was the first driver to win any individual race this season whose name is not Kieran Harrison. That was race 1 back at Daytona. Heading towards the Variante Alta chicane. Just had a very quick view there of the top 4, de Havilland, Sanders, Eyre and Summers, who are still in that order. I think they've called a truce at the moment. It won't last, of course. I'm sure there'll be some more excitement between that quartet in the last lap or so of this race, but that's still 3 or 4 minutes away. Just thought I'd chime in and see where is Matt Kendall. He's in P22 right now. Is some 9 seconds behind Matt Hale, so still potential there, I would say, to catch and gain some more points. And I think for Matt right now, he's got to run that mindset of every point could count, got to keep pushing on. We have seen 2 retirements from this race. They are Harrison Chapman and Will Blackwell Chambers. Back towards the second half of the top 10. This could get a bit interesting. Doyle, Castro, Adams, 1, 2, 3, side by side, heading towards Tamburello. Murray Adams looks like he's going to take the position, but is Castro going to be brave on the brakes down the inside? Adams leaves room. That's nicely done by Murray Adams. Gave enough space to Castro there, but did that classic pinching maneuver of positioning his number 6 car in a way to make sure that the 210 would not get off the corner quickly.
Yeah, really nicely judged by Murray Adams, and to be fair to Castro as well, it was well judged on the braking into Tamburello as well, not to skirt wide and upset the line of Will Doyle either. Brought Cameron Watson onto the back of Will Doyle. See as well, now coming up to second place now in intermediate, or up to second place now in intermediate. Sam Dimolo sticking here with Tom Dix nicely, playing himself into this one gradually, Andrews. There's a bit of drama ahead of him for some of his fellow classmates. Nicely done from Dimolo. 12th place overall, second place in class as things currently stand.
Yeah, this is good for Sam Dimolo. He needed a decent night. Is a bit further down the order in the points. Is 30th in the championship after 6 rounds, but hasn't had a strong score so far this season in these Mazdas. Had technical problems, which meant it was a 0 score. It still counted as a registration for the event, so he'll still be eligible for appearance and attendance bonus points for a driver who gets or comes to each one of these Mazda races. They take home 30 bonus points at the end of the season. But yeah, Timolo looking to get a good score on the board for the first time in Mazdas this year. Back at the front of the order, it's started, ladies and gentlemen. 23 minutes on the clock. Sam Sanders is down the inside of James de Havilland is through. Good stuff there from Sam Sanders. Jack Hare patiently assessing the situation once again. Summers directly behind, had to check up in the middle of Tamburello, but this is where the race begins proper, you would say, for these 4 drivers. They've done nicely to keep the numbers down, but now they've got to play the games to hit the front at the perfect time. That's not yet. That's going to come in about 2 laps' time. Sam Sanders was able to do it in race number 1 at the moment. He's sitting pretty to add another 80 points to his championship tally and still potentially be on for a perfect night. But there's 3 drivers directly behind Howard who do not want to see that happen, particularly the likes of de Havilland and Air, who have their own championship ambitions in their brains right now when it comes to Clubman's.
Yeah, Club 100 iRacing race wins have not been the easiest thing to come by this season, with the impressive form of Kieran Harrison. So drivers would dearly like to seize the opportunity here to take home the spoils. Charlie Summers pulling alongside Jack Hare here, but he's going to have to take something quite special to go around the outside at Ravazza. Sure enough, Jack Hare claims that position. 3rd place, back onto the start-finish straight again then.
And on to the last lap go the leaders. James de Havilland not challenging. Well, he is challenging now. He's going to try and go to the outside. Can he get his nose ahead? Can he pinch down? He can. He can take the lead. Great stuff from James de Havilland. Jack Hare back up to 3rd place now as well. Sam Sanders had the lead of the race at this stage about half an hour ago when we were culminating race number 1. James de Havilland has won many a race in his time over the years. Oh, contact! Joao Castro and I think it was that Will Doyle getting into one another through the Tamburello chicane. Castro is round, rejoins, but is relegated down to P14. This is the John Adey and Tim Penny battle. Here back again at the front of the order through Piratella. James de Havilland has been able to hold on to the lead down to Tozer and up the hill. On board now with Sam Sanders through Aqua Minerale. It's not going to be an opportunity yet for Sam Sanders. And again, Sam Sanders has got to think championship to an extent here. Yes, there are a haul of points, some extra points to be had by taking a race victory, but a lot more could be lost here with a major kind of error. They're through Aqua Minerale now, Howard. This is where it gets interesting. This is where we saw a bit of side-by-side action last time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam Sanders in the slipstream. Surely de Havilland will stick to the inside. Yes, he does. He's going to have to make Sanders go the long way around, and he goes deep to Sanders. And is that going to allow Jack Hare through? Jack Hare squirreling around to find grip. Will that give Charlie Summers an opportunity as well? They're wide coming out of Ravazza. It's a drag to the line. De Havilland surely, though, has just enough to hang on to this one. Sam Sanders is going to pull alongside, drag race towards the line here at IMOLA, and it goes the way of de Havilland by 1/100th of a second by my timing.
Less than that.
Second.
6,000ths, Howard, on at my end. That'll of course be rounded up to 100. 6,000ths of a second the gap. Well, we've seen some close finishes in the oval racing. I think that's got to go down as one of the closest in the road racing disciplines in Club 100 iRacing history. De Havilland wins, Sanders P2, Air P3, Summers and Ollie Davis complete the top 5. Sam Dimolo wins an intermediate. I think that's a first-class win for Sam Dimolo this season. Tremendous stuff in the top 10 as well. Finley Brunton gets some more solid points on the board in the Inters battle. Magnus Riddervold is third in the Inters ranks, and Tom Holland wins in rookie. Good stuff there from Tom Holland. Got himself through the melee on lap 1 and finishes P18. That's a good score.
Yeah, really good stuff. How entertaining was that as a finish? More great racing here at the Circuit Enzo Adino Ferrari. And yeah, 6/1000ths of a gap. I downplayed it, didn't I, in the moment? A 6/1000ths of a second the gap as Matt Kendall crosses the line, and well, he'll be hoping for a better time of it in race 3. But the thing is, Andrew, he'll have to work his way up through the field, won't he? So that'll be a factor to look at in the final race. As I hope that was Josh Mitchell having crossed the line that I saw before he did a little bit of an off-track end to his race. But yeah, brilliant finish at the top of the field. De Havilland with a really good win. Sam Sanders and Jack Eyre rounding out the podium.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break here on the comms. We'll be back in around 5 minutes' time. One more race to go. The drivers will have a short break as well. Don't go anywhere. More coverage of round 7 of the CLUB100 iRacing Championship coming right up. Can he hold that gap? Isaac Lawler's got past Ben Page now. That's for 7th place. Go either into crucial Iredale's corner. Has Davis got the run? He's not going to be able to get the run surely down here into the Stuart Essen, but he may. Oh, he's got the run! He's got the big move. Switched back by Weaver. Read it beautifully. Saw it coming. Kept the steering open. Let Ben Davis come into the inside, and he still held on to the lead. That was brilliant racing by all 3 of them here, and I think that's going to be the crucial moment, because Joe Weaver, unlike 24 hours ago, is not going to need to do the overtake on the last lap. Joe Weaver takes the double in Senior Rotax round 2 of Super 1 2022. Short line on row 11. Jake Wilkins and Andrew Ravage on row 12. And then we'll have our 2 qualifiers from the B final. Bryn Albin and Dean Everest form up the 26 entries for this, the lightweight sprint A final for round 9 of the 2022 CLUB100 Senior Sprint Championship. 12 minutes on the clock. Green light, great start for Mike Coppin. Sweeps across the front. It's a hugely important race, this, for the championship at the start of the run into the end of the season. Coppin versus Brunton. Early advantage, Howard, to Mike Coppin.
Yeah, absolutely. Last tour of the circuit.
White flag is going to be out this time. If they get past the line, it will run to the end. There they go. Oh, it's a big moment for Chris Hansen. He's gone round. Is that going to take anybody else? Yes, it does. Kelly Wright's gone. Hart's gone. Dix has gone. My goodness me, the race is going to keep running though. It's not going to go under caution now. On the last lap, it's 3 of them. Sanders has the lead. He's going to hold the inside. There's not really much help for Brendan at all. He's going to try and get the side trap working here. He's pulling alongside. They're side by side as they come through turn 4. It's going to be a run to the line here for the Simply Catnip 200. It's really close between them. Is Sanders going to hold it? Oh, there's a bit of contact there on the line. It's a photo finish. It's a photo finish. It's Preston. It's Michael.
Stages of this race. Ross Witherow is digging deep again. Has got down to a 32.435 now. It's about a tenth of an. Oh, he's gone for it. Big send. My goodness me. Ross Witherow, brave as anything, on the brakes into the final corner, takes the lead of the race. That was a superb, awesome overtake, and now is Ryan McGinnis going to respond back here? He's looking for the inside now. 6 minutes have expired. That came from miles back from Ross Witherow. Kevin Shine is continuing to go round, by the way. Really, he can drive, he's just not got a lot of power in the number 22. And oh my God, right on the outside attempting. That is an outrageous manoeuvre. Oh, we saw one lap ago. That was even better from Ryan McGinnis. and over the line to take the racing room left by Whitefoot on the outside there. Good news for David Whitehouse, but he's got away. He just needs to get through Ascari chicane and Curva Alvaretto, and he's got a great result here. Tom Dix just holding in front of Steve Hicks there. Dix and Hicks at the moment on the outside of the top 10. They need to get up 2 positions if you're Steve Hicks to get on the front row for contact. That's going to be a big one. Into the wall goes Dix and Hicks. Through goes Ian Sumner.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to live coverage on Alpha Live of the 6th and final round for Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland 2022. My name's Andrew Mather. Great to be with you here at the historic Kartbahn Vollen circuit on the 1st of October 2022. We're here in northern Switzerland for this season finale, and it's got all the ingredients to be an absolute cracker here today. Here's your circuit, 815 metres in length, 12 turns, technical, in its 60th year as well, 60 years of racing here at Vollen. The circuit established in 1962.
It's Michael Lenz. Michael Lenz, who had a great finish to heat number 2. Something has gone wrong for him there, and he is out of this race. That's a real shame for Michael Lenz. The driver he overtook for the lead on the last lap of heat number 2 goes by him. Samuel Ifrid, what a season it has been. He's going to finish it in the best way. The junior champion for the last 2 years. Was at Grand Final in 2021. He's going to be there again in 2022 as the senior Rotax Max champion. Samuel Ifrid takes the win here at Vollen. Kurt Wenger is going to take the win in Master Max.
Final lap of the 2022 Mini Rock Super Final here at Lonato. Cantan's down the inside, going for the move into turn 4, takes the lead. Has he overshot? It's going to be side by side between the 2 AV Racing drivers as they approach turn 5. Will be advantage Canton on the inside, holds onto the lead, but Cosma Christopher is charging along, has closed the gap. This is not over yet. Kalea still there in second place. They're heading towards the last few hairpins now. Cantan defends to the inside. Kalea still there in second. Cosma Christopher can smell that remarkable victory. Cantan's still got the lead of this race. Has got to defend down the inside into the last corner. Get the drive off the final corner. Who's going to be Mini Rock champion for 2022? It's going to be Vivek Cantan. And the title stays in North America for another year. Vivek Cantan wins the lead of the race. Cook is still there in second. Carter's still there in third. They slightly banged wheels. Carter around the outside takes second place. One more opportunity. You've got to think James Roots is still in there as well for the race win. Grayson Wortley, he's got to defend down the inside into Wilkins. He's done just that. He's got to get off the corner, or they're going to be 3 wide. Coming off the corner, Ronnie Carter's gone round the outside. Ronnie Carter becomes champion in the 2022 Super 1 Miami Bambino Championship with a last corner overtake. Have you ever seen a championship decided like that? What a race win. It's not going to be his first one of the year. Joe Holmes knows the situation. Richard Allen is going to win at Brookmore Park, but for the first time since 2015, Anwar Barul Smith wins a...
Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of round 7 of the CLUB100 iRACING Championship for the 2024-2025 season, heading into race number 3 of the night here at Imola, the first of 2 races back-to-back on Italian shores. Very interesting situation here, Mr. Howard Mitchell. I'm not sure we've had this before, but we reported at the end of that second race, did we not, of a victory for James de Havilland. However, we should always remind drivers and viewers, anything that we say at the end of a race is provisional, is it not?
We certainly do. We certainly do, and it's also true that our timing is, I don't know what the right word would be, extrapolated from iRacing, and it is iRacing's own, I'll say, native timing, which is the source of truth on this stuff. And it gives the gap. We were calling it keeps on coming down. I called 1/100th. I called 1/100th across the line. You then bested it with saying no, it's 6 1,000ths. It's actually now 2 1,000ths, but crucially the other way, given in favour of Sam Sanders there.
So
over James de Havilland.
So to be clear, this may get protested from James de Havilland, which is, protest is a strong word. It's more raising to the attention of the stewards. We did actually have a case of this, similarly not for a race victory, but we did have a case at Daytona, sorry, not Daytona, at Talladega, on the oval for the NASCAR race, of iRacing timing and scoring doing something a little bit interesting that the stewards did review and decided to side, in fairness, with the driver who raised it. So yes, that second race is going to be provisional, I feel, because you are right, Howard, that the iRacing scoring and timing, that is master for this stage of things, where the results, either way, is provisional. The protest window opens after all racing has been completed, is then open till midnight, and then of course there's any incidents that are reported in by SDK, almost as an automated observer out on track. They need to all be reviewed, and then any that need to be sent to the stewards for further investigation, so on and so forth. But yeah, very interesting situation there. There is your first evidence of it on the screen of what iRacing timing and scoring has concluded. Because again, the starting order of race number 3 is the finishing order of race number 2. Sam Sanders is on pole position. James de Havilland is alongside on the front row. Still good points for James de Havilland, and he definitely was the winner in the clubman category from that second race. Jack Hare and Charlie Summers on row 2. Ollie Davis and Michael Weddle on row 3. Cameron Watson and Murray Adams go from row 4. They're ahead of Tom Dix and Sam Dimolo, first of the intermediates there, completing the top 10 on row 5. Steve Hicks and Finley Brunton will start this race from the 6th row of the grid. Behind them on row number 7 will be Will Doyle and Magnus Riddervold. João Castro and Tim Penny go from row 8. John Adey and the first of the rookies, Tom Holland, go from row 9. James Fremont and Mike Hart start on row 10. Mark Kendall, this is a huge race now in the story of his championship. He starts on row 11 alongside Matt Hale. Josh Mitchell and Matthew Shawnee were also involved in the incidents on lap 1. They start on row 12 after difficult race 2s. Andy Alston and Matthew Davis start on row 13. Eric Mignon, Will Blackwell Chambers and Harrison Chapman complete the field. I think we're missing 3 drivers from the start of this race. Will Blackwell Chambers, Matthew Shawnee and Harrison Chapman. And we will get ready under evening skies here in Imola. Clouds have parted a little bit. Still dry for everyone out there for the final time tonight. 25 minutes to decide who's going to receive the next haul of 80 championship points. Can Sam Sanders provisionally make it a perfect night of 3 from 3? Can James de Havilland strike back? and take race victory? We're going to find out in the next 25 minutes. Away goes Sam Sanders. Good start. Jack Air's got a little bit of an overlap on de Havilland as they head towards Tamburello for the first time. Looking good so far. 27 drivers streaming into Tamburello. All contact between de Havilland and Air. And like we saw with Matt Kendall in the second race, it is the driver who starts on the outside of row 1 and bother by the time we get through the end of sector number 1.
I am amazed that nobody T-boned James de Havilland there, to be perfectly honest with you, with him coming across the road in the second part of the Tamburello complex. He was a lucky boy then, Andrew, to not get collected by anybody, as we saw happen to some drivers in the second race.
It did indeed. A few drivers had to take 2 drivers left and go off the racing surface. They'll pick up a 1x for the troubles and no more than that. Does look like it's been a cleaner start this time around. Everybody's up and over the hill. Sam Sanders has got a bit of a breakaway. 1.2 seconds clear of Charlie Summers as he heads up towards Variante Alta for the first time in this third race of the night. Great start for Murray Adams as well there. P3 for the number 6 seed from the 2023 championship, leading in the clubman category. But look at the pack behind. Watson, Weddle, Dimolo, Dix, Brunton, Hicks and Doyle all inside the top 10. What a great start as well for Sam Dimolo. 6th place overall at the moment. First of those Inters drivers with that yellowy green roll cage. That is legal. We're not down to Pantone colours of what kind of green it needs to be. Oh, a bit of a door-to-door moment there between Riddervold and Castro. Castro's going to take that position and go up to P11 as into the pits comes Magnus Riddervold. Now, what has happened there? Has there been some form of penalty? Is there damage to Riddervold?
Well,
he's just a bit off screen.
Yeah, was it an immediate... There was that impact into Ravazza. Did he immediately have something wrong with the suspension? They'd be very unlucky if he did. But, yeah, immediately feeling the need to come into the pits as we join an interesting battle going on between Ollie Davis and Mike Hart. And Tim Penny's come a cropper.
Oh, Tim Penny got turned round there and loses position. I think Davis was also off in the secondary. Look at all the gravel that's covered across the circuit now as well. I didn't know we were going dirt racing tonight, Howard. I don't know if we can get a little replay of that to see what happened. Again, Tamburello, it tightens very quickly. And, well, I think Ollie Davis will argue he was tight to the corner and probably had a good amount of right hand down and didn't have a lot of space to use there. That is a problem on your screens for Josh Mitchell. Josh Mitchell, who's not had a good night tonight by his standards, has been one of the shine-out stars of the 2024 part of this 24-25 Club 100 iRacing Championship season. But kicking off the new year and the last third of the season here tonight, Josh Mitchell has been in the wars as off is John Adey in the 221 in the intermediate category. Gets back onto circuit but falls behind Tim Penny, so we'll be down to round P25 now. Let's have another look. This was that is Jack Air having a moment with Matt Kendall, is it not?
It is, and also it's also the moment that Josh Mitchell lost his front bumper, but I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how that was lost just then. That looked very strange to me, but yeah, that is a moment between 2 of our drivers formerly running towards the front, of course, of race 1, having a little bit of a fracas through the Villeneuve, the Variante Villeneuve. So yeah, difficult start to this one for Jack Air. Now on a recovery drive. Here's Matt Kendall, one of the drivers that we said was one to watch in terms of a recovery drive. Up to 14th place now, Andrew. Look, there's so much debris in this part of the track.
Yes, indeed. Will Blackwell Chambers, by the way, is back on circuit. I think he may have just taken a start from pit lane. Which given how much has been happening in the first 2 and a bit laps of this one, it might be quite a wise decision. There is Eric Mignon on your screens, the white car with the fluoro yellow hood. And this indeed is the battle for the lead in the rookie class. On board with Tom Holland now. This is the Warwick University Motorsport entry. They'll be getting ready for the upcoming BUKC season, which isn't too far away, of course.
Eric Mignon here, Andrew, chasing Jack Eyre in a battle that you wouldn't have predicted based off of the finish result for race 2 at all. No disrespect intended to Mr. Mignon. This underlines how dramatic the first few laps have been for Jack Eyre in a way that he probably wasn't too keen on.
Absolutely, but still some good time to pull this one back. Well, yes, there's still very much a question mark over that race 2 win, but this so far has been a fantastic race for Sam Sanders. He has a 4.4 second lead. This is Kieran Harrison-like form at the moment. There is that chasing pack in the background, headed up by Murray Adams. Cameron Watson in 3rd, Charlie Summers there in 4th place as well. Summers having a bit of a look down the inside of Watson. That's a nice move. That's a really nice move from Charlie Summers. Got the braking absolutely right. I can hear the sound of tyres squealing in the background. So I don't know if someone's having a bit of a drama out there. They are. And it's Sam Dimolo. It's Sam Dimolo who's off at Tamburello. Rejoins, but is now down in 17th place. Let's have a look at how it happened. Oh, encouraged. And it was contact with Steve Hicks into Tamburello that puts Dimolo in the dirt. And all of the hard work that Sam Dimolo had completed is now, well, in terms of this race, gone for nothing. That one is, well, at least would get reported in and looked at by the SDK Automated Observer. We know that because it's been a highlight that for broadcast purposes we've been able to show you there. That is likely to be reviewed by the stewards. Well, probably tomorrow when they adjourn to have a look through things. Cameron Watson showing us out on my screen, Howard. Now that may be a connection thing. It is. So
yeah, it is. It is.
Back up to 5th.
Do you know what's slightly weird? Possibly through not the cleanest of means, as we just saw, but Steve Hicks in 10th place, 3rd in Prem class. What a bizarre setup it's been in this race so far.
Indeed. Well, there it is for Steve Hicks. Penalties, if applied, are all time penalties to remind. There are the accumulation of penalty points on licenses over the course of the season, but I'm glad to report that I don't really think anyone is close to getting themselves in too much bother on that front at the moment. Change for 2nd place, another routine one on the long run to Tamburello there. Howard, Charlie Summers back up into that position. Murray Adams going with him there now in 3rd.
At the moment, though, they haven't got a response. You might think that if they can work together and maybe bump draft and such, they might be able to start closing in a gap on Sam Sanders. That's 5.7 seconds though now, the gap to the leader. This is impressive stuff so far from Sanders. As we come back to this, the closest back on track. Probably didn't need me to tell you that though. It's nose to tail into Dosa.
Matt Kendall digging really, really deep here. Well, Steve Hicks did have 3rd place in the Premier category, but he's lost that now because Matt Kendall has come through to P9. Let's have a look and see how he did it. Bit of an unorthodox one round the outside on the exit of Tozer. That's beautiful.
He likes doing some impressive moves in Villeneuve towards Tozer, doesn't he? That's really good stuff from Matt Kendall. And he's up into 9th place and 3rd in class, Andrew. The recovery continues. It's not where he would want to be. But he is beginning to move on up the field. is the driver, the number 67, and he's in the most clustered pack of cars on the circuit.
Yes, indeed. 10 minutes of this race gone, 15 to go for tonight. We will be back in a few weeks' time with round number 8 as James de Havilland's trying to fight his way back up the order. 2 weeks' time, in fact. And we'll be mentioning that it's a double header, a back-to-back of sorts in terms of the championship schedule in Italy. We'll be at Monza for some more GT3 fun. We had a TCR race around there a couple of years ago, which is still one of my favourite Club 100 iRaces that we've ever had. So very much looking forward to seeing what the GT3s can do round there, as James de Havilland goes down the inside of Matthew Davis and is back up to P15. If you want to get involved, if you're watching and you've not already signed up over on the simgrid.com, keep an eye out. We are going to open up a reduced rate for the last 3 races of the season if you want to get on the grid. And all the details, the link to the SimGrid host page for all Club 100 iRacing events is in the description of the video below. Other remaining races, 5th of February will be the next one for the MX-5s round Brands Hatch. And then another 2 races to finish off the season. The 26th of February, the last of the GT3 races, will be at Interlagos, classic combination there. And then the 12th of March for the season finale, back in the MX-5s once again. A little bit of a different circuit for an end of year soiree. Will be at Donington Park. I say it's a bit a difference for the end of the season. You can get some end of season races for British GTs and things like that, but very much looking forward to those races remaining between now and the end of this championship schedule. This battle, Howard, from, what would you say, Tom Dix down, it's simmering, I would say. It's not boiled over yet.
Well, yeah, I'd say it's Matt Kendall down. Tom Dix has actually got a bit of breathing space there out front in 7th place. But yeah, it's a nice little pack. This will close up again here on the start-finish straight. Lap and go at the start of this lap that we're just watching the end of now. James de Havilland getting the move in against Matthew Davis. He now goes another one, to get by on Josh Mitchell. Putting another car between himself and Jack Eyre. At one point they were lying astern on track, and I've got a funny feeling they're not particularly keen to see each other again in this race after how the race began.
No.
Yeah, de Havilland up to 14th place in this pack. Jack Eyre pushing hard to try and catch up onto the back of this pack. If he can do that, then there is some reward, as we cut forward there to Castro versus Steve Hicks, and that's given an opportunity for Andy Alston to come round the outside. Oh no, he didn't see me there, no chance. Stiley. That might be a bit obscure of a reference for some.
Oh, if you're of a particular age, you know that was some forceful stuff from Castro into and through Toza. Down the hill now through Aqua Minerale. Again, I know it's an old hat thing to say, but the Global Mazda MX-5 Cup car is delivering again tonight. Really, really good, exciting racing as Matt Kendall goes through past Tom Dix. That's Kendall back up to P7. I think that might be where his progress ends, because he's got to find some 6.5 seconds up to Fraser Brunton. Sorry, not Fraser Brunton, that's the other one. Finlay Brunton in 6th place. Brakes are glowing on the front of that number 67. There is Finlay Brunton, who again, we've said this across the course of the season, Howard, is one of the debutants, has currently got a 2.7 KI rating, which has gone up over the course of the last 5 or 6 months. But when he started out, I want to say he was around 1.7, 1.8. That's why he ended up in intermediate. But this is what the class system can do. It can offer the opportunity for a driver to build and improve no doubt for future seasons, as Mike Hart goes down the inside of Steve Hicks for 11th place, that's a nice move by the experienced pilot in the number 11. But for Finley Brunton, he is going to be scoring a big haul of points tonight in the intermediate stakes, and considering it's been a bit of a difficult one for Matthew Davis, this could be a telling round for who takes the prize drive in that intermediate class.
Yeah, certainly. That's you know, a very, very close run thing in that class. It's been really competitive so far, and you're right, it is going to, I think that one is likely to come down right to the end there, and it's a good evening certainly for Finley at the moment. So yeah, that is going to be an interesting one to see how that one plays out. De Havilland looks to try and put a move on fellow classmate Will Doyle. Focus on the wing mirror colour, not the roll cage, everybody. As they come out of Aqua Minerale. Going to be on the outside heading towards the Variante. I don't know, he's got the job done before they're even braking. That's different. Is Will Doyle going to come back at him?
Nope.
Thankfully not, so that one would have ended a little scruffily in all likelihood. It's a battle for 11th overall and 4th in the Premier class rages on ahead of them. Bizarre, isn't it? It's been a really interesting evening for just. I do think that the Global MX5 car is a great leveler. Andrew, you know, it produces really good racing. Everyone's familiar with it. Everyone can feel quite confident in it, and it produces. Well, when combined with a circuit like this, which has a lovely combination of sweeping corners and straights where you can pull the gap back again, it produces fantastic racing.
Does indeed. 17 minutes of this race gone, 8 to go on the clock. Back to the battle for second place, which is definitely not done. Charlie Summers holding that position at the moment in the red and black Staglione Campione racing machine. How appropriate would it be for that car to be on the podium tonight? Murray Adams there, slightly darker blue details in the number 6. Here's Tim Penny, who we saw having a spot of bother earlier in the race, of course. It's been a difficult season so far for Tim Penny. You can tell that. I don't think he's been in the pits, because you can still see the damage there. It's not affecting his speed too much. He's currently in 23rd place. Matt Hale just ahead. Through Tozer and up the hill once again.
If James Fremont's struggling, the reason we went back to this fight, Andrew, is that Tim Penny had just got ahead of James Fremont, and he's already under challenge from John Adey.
That was a bold one, a really bold one from John Adey. But both made it work, as Tom Holland's going to have a look down the inside, as there's a problem for Will Doyle. And I think Will's got damage, rear right damage. Oh, that was very close with Sam Dimolo there. And I think Will might be needing to tow that back to the pits if he can get it going. Let's have a look at how it happened. It was into Variante Alta. Josh Mitchell was, Josh has just clipped him. Josh just clipped the rear right. And then I think Matthew Davis was also involved in that. That was very, very close. And the trouble for Will there is, of course, he's lost half of his drive. Rear-wheel drive, these Mazda MX-5s. And only one of those rear wheels is propelling him forward right now. That's a real shame for Will. That's going to put him out of contention in this race.
Yeah, really unlucky, and there's no, there's no malice in what Josh Mitchell was doing there. It just that's Josh Mitchell has felt the need to go to the pit lane as well. So I wonder if he had some suspension issues. So both of them have suffered as a result of that instant. Chopping bad luck, frankly, in the braking zone there for Variante Alta. Yeah,
really, I don't think there was any intent there from Josh Mitchell. He's not that kind of driver. But either way, that's part of racing sometimes. So, just over 5 minutes of this one to go. Looking back from Tom Dix, there is Joao Castro. look down the inside there, but I think was a bit too eager there. Yeah, that was one of those 50-50 moves that is actually going to go the other way. Andy Alston's going to be up the inside of Castro, heading towards Variante Alta, and through goes Andy Alston. That's a nice move from the Scotsman. Back up to 9th place.
Yeah, good opportunistic reading of that situation from Alston. This is the highest we've seen him running this evening so far, if memory serves correctly. What a good run. 5th place in class as well.
Big
Mike
Sen.
Hart down the inside, or is he? Goes a bit deep there, and that allows Castro back through.
It is indeed. As, Castro into the pits. Now, is that penalty related? Can't see any obvious damage that would pull the car in, say, get it repaired now. But if a driver hits 17 incident points in one of these 25-minute races, it's a drive-through penalty. At least on my notifications, I think the data we've got is that he's only had the single off-track. But
Yep.
if he has and
Gloves
then
off
had 4 pieces of contact, then that's going to be 17.
True. Gloves off the battle for 2nd place. Andrew Murray Adams has decided to go for it.
Yeah.
And he's made it stick as they were coming out of the Tamburello complex and heading towards Villeneuve. That is change for 2nd place in what has been a stable pack for most of this race. Murray Adams choosing to go for it. Put a car between himself and Mike Weddle as well in the battle for clubman honours. Although when they're this far up in the order, frankly, they will be worrying more about overall result, I think. Because they're definitely on a par with the premier driver they're racing with. A shout out, how about Finley Brunton keeping up with this pack? Yeah. Brilliant stuff. And he is going to be, I mean, at the moment, there are some 8 cars between him and the next driver in intermediates, Andrew. He's having a fantastic evening.
And it's the consistency that's impressing me with Finley. Don't get me wrong, folks. I don't think in future competitions Finley Brunton is going to be an intermediate for much longer. The classifications will get reviewed and assessed and calculated with ranking points at the end of this season. I'll come back to that because this is a good scrap, and Michael Weddle's trying to go around the outside for 3rd place. It's going to be side by side with Charlie Summers. Good racing, respectful racing between these drivers once again, and they continue on for another fight in due course through the Villeneuve chicane. Try not to take too much curb. Don't want to have a UGE day moment. That's another slightly obscure reference for you all. 23.5 minutes of this one to go. Finley Brunton's probably back in this. But again, has got to remember, this is a really, really big night. In terms of those scores and those points, with Matthew Davis down in 15th place, Finley cannot afford to have any silly trip-ups and loss of points. You know, take a 6th place, big haul of points, extend the gap, relax a little bit into the last 3 races of the season and look to secure those prizes for being the top intermediate. But again, they're all racing drivers. They all want to win and get as high up the order as they can. There's no higher driver in the order than Sam Sanders right now. Still a question mark on that race too, pending any protests against iRacing's automated decisions. But what we can say for sure is that Sam Sanders is 1 lap away from being top scorer here tonight.
Yeah, he's just got to stroke this one home, hasn't he? But yeah, the stewards will most likely be asked to review that, and in order to determine that, they'll be able to basically frame by frame play it through to the line. You imagine the start of Cars, you know, the Pixar film where he's sticking his tongue out, and all of that. It's it's although actually that's a bad example because they called it dead heat, didn't they? Then, but they will play it frame by frame to work that one out and confirm it. So it is very much provisional. But this is the battle. Oh, the last lap, and we pick it up in the midst of some drama there. For Charlie Summers, it's going to allow both the Clubmans by.
Weddle goes through. Weddle goes through into second place. Adams is still down the inside. Summers is going to have the advantage for the next part of the Villeneuve chicane. There's a little bit of a hip check there, and round goes Cameron Watson. That's what we were talking about, that there was going to be risk in the latter stage of this one. Through goes Matt Kendall. Matt Kendall's going to be back in the top 6 here with a brilliant run. Michael Weddle is away. He does like it in the Masters. Took that race win at Daytona earlier in the season, of course. It's not done for third, though. Murray Adams is going to want that position back because he can see an opening for the Clubman Championship point stakes at the moment, with Josh Mitchell not having a good night, Jack Air having a not good race, had good races in the earlier part of the night. Lots to still be decided as we're here on the last lap of the night at Imola. Sam Sanders is away and gone. That one is decided. Sam Sanders is going to be your round winner from tonight, at least provisionally. But who is going to take this P2? This is where it's going to get tight now, as down the inside, that's Tom Dix going for a move on Cameron Watson. Mike Hart is there as well, and round goes Watson for the second time on this last lap. What a terrible last lap for Cameron Watson. I think there was a bit of contact there, as deep has gone Summers. There is your race winner and round winner, 2 on the spin for Sam Sanders. He finished 2024 with a round win, and he starts 2025 with 1 as well. Michael Weddle is going to take second place. Charlie Summers holds on for third ahead of Murray Adams. Finley Brunton is the top intermediate home in 5th. What a great drive from Matt Kendall, home in 6th ahead of Andy Alston and Tom Dix. And a whole flurry of cars. I think have got penalties on the last lap. They've all come in at the end. Mike Hart, Steve Hicks and James de Havilland are all serving drive-through penalties for incident points on the last lap and lose. Well, they've not lost yet all of those positions. Now they've been classified across the line in 14th, 15th and 16th places respectively. Here comes Eric Mignon. Mignon's going to be your top driver in rookies, and if I may say so, he's had a really good night. Brilliant progress there from Eric Mignon. Another top 20 result. Well, this championship continues to throw up race finishes that manners of that we haven't seen ever, or at least not for a very long time.
Well, quite. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to find a way that we could actually. Gosh, where do we start with this? No, it's not back there. I'm not going to manage to find this, am I? It's such a bizarre. Oh, it's going to be all these. Okay, hang on.
This is the thing that we
So
can
here we
actually
go.
do
The
this.
bizarre is finished. Here it is. They just.
That was
Gonna
Jack Air.
keep on. Well, it's going to be hard to follow, isn't it?
Yeah,
But,
Jack Air gained 3 positions about that. I don't know if we could have another look at the incident at Variante Alta with Watson, because that may well have been, if drivers were within 4 points, 4 incident points of the 17, this may well be the cause of it. Yeah, there's definite contact there between the 148 and the 11. Now, whether the 11 could have done anything about it, that remains to be said. There was some more contact. That may well have been some incident points for those 2 again. Let's just see if there was anything else down into Rivazza. No, but again, if they've already hit the 17 incident points at that stage, it's just... Michael Schumacher obviously had a very famous trip to the pit lane at Silverstone in 1998 to finish a race in the pit lane. I've never seen it happen with multiple cars on the same lap, and also Linus Stern as well.
I'd say your heart goes out to Sam Dimolo, who just misses out. You'll see him sort of come into shot here. He's the first person not to cash in on this. There he is, crossing the line. bizarre. The Club 100 iRacing Championship continues to deliver both racing entertainment and just weirdness in a good way.
Let's have a look at the final result, because I've just seen a comment in the chat that may mean that we've got another penalty to talk about. We'll wait and see what comes up here on our screens, ladies and gentlemen, for the result of race number 3. Sam Sanders, Michael Weddle, Charlie Summers, Murray Adams and Finley Brunton in your top 5. Okay, that all makes sense. Matt Kendall, Andy Alston, Tom Dix, Jack Eyre, Ollie Davies and Ollie and Matthew Davis, 10th and 11th. That all seems to check out as well. Watson, Blackwell, Chambers, Dimolo, Castro, Eric Mignon there being scored in 16th place. Tim Penny and Tom Holland 18th. So where in the end did Hart to Haviland? Yeah, they fell all the way down to 20th, 21st and 22nd places on that one. Should stress, we've already had it once tonight where what's shown at the very end of the race and what iRacing has recorded in its timing and scoring is slightly different. So all of these results are provisional. But I think what we can say, Howard, we asked at the start of the night, could someone take advantage of Kieran Harrison's absence from this round? The answer is definitely yes. And for Sam Sanders, that's 2 round wins on the spin. And I think it's pretty fair to say that there was no luck involved. It wasn't like results were handed to him. He fought for every single one of those race finishes, and it is a worthy top score from tonight's event.
Well, look, one of those wins is so close, it's probably going to be challenged.
Yep.
I should speak more neutrally. It would not be beyond the realms of possibility for it to be challenged. But then, of course, had a fantastic amount of dominance in that last race. So, with sort of race 1 sitting in the middle of that. So, yeah, no, he's had to work for that one. We've been treated to a really good evening's racing, and he has legitimately come out on top there. Even, and to be clear, even if that second race is adjudged to be the other way round in de Havilland's favour.
It's a 6-point loss. He's still the top
overall.
scorer.
Yeah, it's still going to be a big haul of points and an overall round victory. So, yeah, no, fair play to Sam Sanders. Needed to take advantage of Kieran Harrison not being here. That is exactly what he has done. So, yeah, it's definitely a completely legitimate result for him. Good night's racing for... I mean, Mike Weddle's had a fantastic evening's racing. Always been up there. Charlie Summers as well. The top 3 in that last race have been in amongst the sharp end runners throughout the evening's racing. I've got to shout out once again Finley Brunton. What an evening he's had, finishing off the evening's racing with a top 5 result there as well. And Matt Kendall as well featured prominently in that first race. Worked his way up all through the second and third race to bag actually a pretty decent result there, 6th place. Not what he would have hoped for from the evening, given his pace and competitive running, but a good show nonetheless from the driver of the 67.
Absolutely. I think for me as well, Clubman is still wide open for who's going to be coming out on top of that one. I would fully expect that to go all the way to the very final round of the season. Finley Brunton, you've mentioned, will top the points up, of course, but I think that could be when we get to the end of this season and we look at what was the pivotal race, what was the pivotal night. If Finley Brunton can keep this form going. No, he's not won it yet. Nobody can win any of the titles before round 8, before they've got a full complement of scores on their scorecard. Finley's still got some work to do, but he's taken a big step towards the title here tonight. And rookie, I think, is going to be still pretty wide open as well. And it's good to see, across Eric, Tom, Matthew, that they're all having their turn at the front of the rookie field. That's going to bring an end to our coverage here at IMOLA this evening. We are at Monza in 2 weeks' time for the next appearance of the GT3s. If you want to be on the grid for that one, there are places still available. Head to thesimgrid.com, find the Club 100 Racing hosts page. The link to that is in the description below. Give it a follow sign up for your entry, and we'll take you through everything from there. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. If you're at the CLUB100 Awards on Saturday night, we very much look forward to seeing you there, and having a drink, having a song, and having a bit of a boogie as well. And yeah, that's going to be good fun to look forward to. And we'll be back here in 2 weeks' time for the next round of this CLUB100 iRacing Championship. Thank you very much for joining us. My name's been Andrew Maller. He's been Howard Mitchell. Together with the Double Dash Motorsport Media. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.